This is The After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
After Party live on a Friday. Got a little taste of Florida in the Mark Thompson show, so that was the good part. And now comes the best part of the week. It is time for At the Movies with Tim Sika, and we'll get to him in just a moment, but I do want to say thank you to Wes Theory, who popped in today with a $5 contribution to the show. Linda G sent in a PayPal contribution as well. Laura W, Joe F, thank you guys so much for helping this show keep going. This show that is 4 subscribers away from 2,500. It's a goal, and we're this close to reaching it. So please, if you haven't subscribed, click subscribe. And I'm always remiss in saying it, please click the like button as well. Okay, I know we wait for it all week. It's time for At the Movies with Tim Sika.
No.
And here he comes.
The pressure is on, as always. Oh no.
You don't feel any pressure. Who are you kidding? Who are you fooling?
Well, I can fool people, so yeah.
I love this picture that we have for At the Movies with Tim Sika, with everyone set up on the beach watching a beach movie. I really want to do that. I saw a beach movie in Hawaii, on Oahu, Waikiki Beach. They had this big thing set up. There were so many people though, but I would love it if we had good enough weather at our beaches in California where we could have some kind of beach movie event. That would be so fun.
Yeah, that would be very, very cool. Yeah, I know everybody looks like they're relaxed and having a good time, and there's an atmosphere there, and I know.
But here we'd all be bundled up, and this wind would still be whipping into our faces, the salt spray slapping us in the pink cheeks as we tried to hear a movie that the roar of the waves would overtake.
Yeah. Well, I hear though we're doing a lot better than a lot of these other states that are like getting like smacked with these intense heat. Heat things. And
rain and whatever.
Yeah, my sister who lives in Ohio, it's like she's telling me like it's just god awful there, So anyway.
Were you raised in Ohio?
Yes, I was born in Cleveland, Ohio. Wow. Yes, on the lake. Right on the lake. And it's funny because it was a nice place to grow up in, but what was interesting that it would get in the winter, it would get really, really cold. And because Cleveland is literally on Lake Erie, you'd have these things like you'd have the temperature, which would be like, I don't know, 20 degrees, but then they'd have this thing called the wind chill factor. Yeah. And the wind chill factor sometimes it would get as cold, it would go as below as like 60 degrees below zero, which is like something else, man. Thank you. Yeah.
My husband grew up in Michigan. I know Ohio.
Similar.
Michigan, I know. But is that where he says your eyelashes kind of can stick together?
Oh yeah.
You have like the crusty ice at the nostril.
Yeah.
Chilly.
Yeah. I had a couple jobs where I was I had to work outside in those kind of temperatures, but I liked it because I love the cold, and for some reason, obviously it was survival. But no, I can deal well in the cold. I like cold better than hot anyway. Hot makes me want to just like curl up into a ball and go to sleep, but cold, you're alive when you're freezing. When you're roasting, you kind of just go, yeah, whatever. But when you're cold, you're alive. So anyway,
as a native Californian, hats off to you, because I saw that it was minus 17 on the temperature on the car dashboard, and I thought it was a mistake. Like there's 0% chance that could be right, and my husband's like, no, that's Michigan. That's how
that's Michigan. Yeah, and Michigan and Ohio are very similar. Yeah, because they're both by lakes. Yeah, too. So anyway.
Oh well, let's jump into it, because you've got this movie that everyone is wanting to know about.
Yeah, The Naked Gun. Yes. Yeah. Oh my goodness, The Naked Gun. Yeah, wacky, silly, stupid comedy. But is it funny? That's the first question on everybody's mind, right? Is it funny?
Sure.
And well, yes and no.
Okay.
Okay, this is like the fourth film in the Naked Gun franchise,
Hmm.
which was a spin-off of what I thought was an achingly hilarious TV series called Police Squad, which was this American crime comedy television series that was broadcast on the ABC network in 1982. And it was created by David Zucker, Jim Abrahams, and Jerry Zucker, who did the equally funny feature film Airplane. Did you ever see Airplane?
Yeah.
Kim, yeah. Well, okay. The Police Squad well, Leslie Nielsen was in Airplane too, but he also starred in Police Squad, which came later as this Sergeant Detective Lieutenant Frank Drebin, right? And it was a series so funny that spoofed police procedurals. They only filmed 6 episodes and it was canceled. I don't know why, low ratings, obviously, but in my opinion, they were all these individual 25-minute comedy segments were just perfection. I mean, the scripts were gems, and they starred Leslie Nielsen, who was, before he appeared in Airplane and these movies, he was considered a very serious and grave actor, but he had this ability to come across as gut-bustingly funny when given the right material. Anyway, the combination of the scripts, which were each about 24 minutes in duration, they were supremely tight and taut comedy scripts combined with the casting of Leslie Nielsen yielded comedy genius. This movie, this Naked Gun movie, and again, what's funny to one person may be dull as dishwater to another person. It casts one of my favorite actors, Liam Neeson, in the role of Detective Frank Drebin Jr., who's just as dumb and silly and stupid and bumbling as his father. And the perfunctory plot, which is just an excuse to hang a bunch of sporadically amusing comedy bits and jokes and gags on, has Frank Drebin Jr., played by Liam Neeson, lamely attempting to follow in his father's footsteps to prevent the shutting down of Police Squad. That's the premise. And
I have to say, I was really surprised by the casting of Liam Neeson in this role.
yeah, well, I think, Liam Neeson as a replacement for Leslie Nielsen, I don't think always works.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a great actor, but I think, in my opinion, he lacks whatever that little something extra that Leslie Nielsen had that made the original TV show so special. He does his best, but so many of his line readings, the comic bits that he's supposed to be selling, fall flat. And there are times when he seems to be having difficulty delivering his lines. I don't know if that was deliberate. It might have been, but I just thought he seemed a little out of place to me. Anyway.
Okay.
But that said, and unfortunately, Kim, the bane of we critics is to compare and contrast. Compared to the Police Squad TV series and comparing Neeson to Nielsen, this movie, in my opinion, falls short on the laughs. It's not a consistently funny movie, although there are a number of bits. I didn't laugh much while I was watching the movie, but when I think about the film, I kind of chuckle. And in retrospect, there's some bits which, when they come to mind, I guess are sufficiently amusing. Pamela Anderson, she's in the poster there, as the film's femme fatale. She has the funniest bit in a scene where she scats singing jazz in a nightclub. It's just really, really, it's really, really funny. It's a classic comedy moment. But bottom line, I'm down the middle on this movie. The movie only half works. It only half worked for me because most of the jokes just didn't land. And comedy that's unfunny is like, it's excruciating to sit through. So unfortunately, if it were up to me, I say skip the Naked Gun and go seek out Police Squad instead. But I'm in the minority here. This movie's getting rave reviews.
Yeah.
So, for what it's worth, yeah. The other thing too is, it's a short, the film's listed as like 92 minutes, but it actually ends at the 75-minute point. They really pad out the ending. I think if they took what was here and condensed it into like a 30-minute movie, I think it would be really, really funny. But it just, so much of it just drags. And when a movie is supposed to make you laugh and you're just sitting going, huh?
Oh no.
So that was my overall reaction to the Naked Gun. Sorry. I love Liam Neeson though. I do. I don't know why they cast him.
Another movie that's getting good reviews mostly, but although Michael Snyder just ripped it apart in this
Really?
one, this is
Ooh,
Happy Gilmore too.
I didn't. You know what? I didn't see Happy Gilmore 2, and I'll tell you why I didn't see Happy Gilmore 2. Happy Gilmore was. I barely got through that.
Hmm.
And then, I mean, I don't know if this was a mistake, but I read the Daily Beast's review, and I thought, and this was from a critic I generally agree with, and I thought, this guy sounds like me ripping into the movie if I had seen it. So I just
Well,
skipped it. I skipped it. Have you
I've
seen it?
I've had a lot of family time recently. My mom had a medical issue, and so
Right, right.
we've
How's
been
she doing, by the way?
Oh, thank you for asking. She's
Yeah,
doing much better, but the doctor told her yesterday that
yeah.
she has to have someone with her 24/7 for the next 3 weeks, and she
Oh,
was not happy
geez.
about that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be either.
Well, we
Oh,
were at my sister's house, so I had my kids, the nieces and nephews that are all like they're in junior high and high school, and mostly, and so everyone's on the couch and kind of hanging
yeah,
out. And
yeah.
I fell they turn on Happy Gilmore too, and I'm so
Uh-huh.
tired because I've been kind of burning the candle at both ends, and I fell asleep, and I wake up to my entire family watching Happy Gilmore 2 cackling, like, they
Yeah,
are just laughing up a storm.
yeah,
There are a
yeah,
lot of parts of this movie, the parts that I was awake for, that are stupid, but
yeah.
there are a lot of parts too. There are just enough parts that are classic, funny stuff that, like, it'll be the Caddyshack of my kids' generation.
Really?
They will be
Wow.
quoting this movie and
Wow. You
referencing it. Yeah, it's
you made
just
me want to see it now. I mean,
it's not good. Like, there's so
yeah,
much stupid. It's so stupid
yeah,
that but it just becomes one of those cult classics. I think
yeah.
that this will be that.
Well,
Mhm.
that's kind of, that's Adam Sandler's shtick.
Yeah.
About a year or two ago, I saw him live in concert. He did like 3 hours of what to me amounted to Happy Gilmore stuff. But and I after about an hour, and when I finally let go and I kind of got into what he was doing, I
Mhm.
thought a lot of his comedy was, yes, it's characteristically stupid and silly,
Yeah.
but I thought it was kind of brilliant. And then I probably should see this movie. I probably should see it. Maybe I'd be with your family on it. I don't know, but Michael Snyder didn't like it. Huh?
Now, I mentioned this that who was there watching it because it was the teenagers in the group,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
so they're all finding it really funny, and they know there's so many cameos of famous people
Yeah.
all
Okay. Well,
throughout
it's
this movie, and
you're
some
you,
of them
you're
are pretty
making me want.
classic.
You're
I don't
making me
know.
want to see it. I don't know. I don't know. Hey, maybe if I
Well,
can
it's
make the
easy.
time this
It's
week.
easily accessible, and it is on Netflix.
Yeah.
I'm not giving it I'm not telling Tim Sika to watch this Happy Gilmore too. By all means, don't. But I'm just saying the kids thought it was really funny, and I found myself laughing in a couple spots.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's
So
something.
there
Yeah.
you go.
That's like my review of The Naked Gun. I found myself
Yeah,
laughing in a couple spots, but that's
laughing in
about
a
it.
couple
Yeah.
spots.
Yeah.
Okay, your next movie is called Sketch. When I looked up the movie poster, I
Yeah.
saw this was from 2024, but did it just get released or something?
Yeah, I think it had, I don't quote me on this, but I think it premiered at a film festival probably in late 2024. That's not to say that this is a bad movie. It's not. I mean, this is a genuinely seriously made family fantasy comedy adventure with some genuine and serious bite to it. It's kind
Okay.
of a rarity for family films, but this one's about a widowed father of two, played by Tony Hale of the TV show Arrested Development, who's struggling to kind of help his two children, a boy and a girl, played by newcomers Bianca Bell and Hugh Lawrence, come to terms and find emotional closure with the death of their mother. So it's a serious movie. And the girl in the family, the young girl, she deals with her emotions and her grief by drawing her feelings in a notebook, hence the title Sketch, which one day accidentally gets dropped into this magical pool, which results in the neighborhood becoming terrorized by these strange monsters that this girl has drawn in the notebook. Kind of dark stuff. it's like I don't know, Freud, the id or something manifesting in this kind of like scary way. But in my estimation, Kim, this is a wonderful film for children of all ages,
Okay.
and their parents, that deals with issues of death, loss, grief, and the emotions that accompany those things. How it's okay to feel some really dark stuff when you're grieving, but that there are ways to deal with that, ways of managing one's emotions where they can be individually processed and in such a manner where nobody gets hurt. So lots of cinematic, I don't know, snap, crackle, and pop here too, in the depiction of these creatures that were drawn by the little girl to deal with her own feelings. I love kids' movies that are like this, that they're intelligent, that never ever play down to them. And this one's got an added dose of astringency to kind of counteract any potential, what I call treacle factor, usually omnipresent in family movies of this kind. But yeah, I think this is one of the best family movies to come along the pike in years. I really recommend it. It's a good one. Surprisingly so. And it's funny you mentioned the 2024. I saw that too, and I thought, oh God, is this something they just shelved and now they're trying to like make some money off of? I was surprised how good it was. Really good. Really good.
Wow, that's awesome. And your next movie is called Together.
Yes, Together. Okay, all right. Okay, this is a body horror relationship picture starring the real life acting couple, Dave Franco and Alison Brie. They're in the poster there. Both really great here as a couple on the edges in a barely held together relationship. It's a very frayed one when the movie begins, and who literally go at it toe to toe, arm to arm, body part to body part, in arguably you're going to go, what, Tim? Arguably, I thought this was the best horror movie of the year. And one that was not only enjoyable, if you can even say that about a body horror movie, ick, right? Because there's a lot of ick stuff in this movie, but also one that was in turn scary and kind of perversely funny. All due to the way in which this movie, which is really ridiculous when you think about it, what happens in this movie, you're going, yeah, give me a break. But the way it was directed, the way it was acted, and the way it was photographed elevated it. This was one of the most beautifully shot horror movies I can recall seeing in some time, because a lot of it takes place in nature. But anyway, it poses questions about things like, well, who are we really when we're in a relationship? Do we lose our identity when we're in a relationship? Does being in a relationship mean melding one person into two? I don't think the movie in any way, shape, or form resolves or even like deeply investigates these questions. Instead, we're kind of left wondering about and pondering those questions more than having them answered for us, which I think is all to the good, actually. I don't think they needed to do that because it's implied. But yeah, Franco and Brie play a couple who move away from the city to the countryside in order to fix their relationship, only to encounter this weird supernatural force, which let's just say, compels them to merge, literally. This movie is gross without being disgusting. It's entertaining without being repellent. It's thought-provoking without depressing the hell out of you. And it's a lot of fun. I just had a great time at the movies watching Together. It's funny, I think, I read somewhere, I don't know if you read this, but where Dave Franco and Alison Brie said, if you and your significant other go to see this movie and then you break up afterwards, that meant you were never meant to be together.
Oh.
So it's that kind of movie, but I just thoroughly enjoyed Together, and I recommend it. Strangely enough, I found it great fun. Can you imagine a body horror movie that was actually fun? Well,
no.
Go see Together and see if you agree. Really, it's fun. I think Nikki Medoro would love this movie.
Yeah,
she would totally dig it.
I was just thinking I need to text her and tell her you love this one and put it on her list.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is right up her alley for sure. I thought I was going to be totally grossed out and repelled by it, and there is some of that. Yeah. I mean, when their bodies start, and then there's an image where they're like just joining. That's the most, oh God, oh. Anyway, but it was sort of like palpable ick. I don't know how to say it. It
if
didn't.
you say so.
Yeah, it didn't gross me out, but yet it had the effect it was supposed to have, you know, on I think on the viewer, obviously on me. But it was great fun, and it was great entertainment, and so well acted by this. I don't know if two actors who were not married maybe necessarily could have, like, you know,
Pulled it off.
pulled it off. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, it's great. I loved it.
Like, are their bodies melding together in that
Well,
poster?
I think
That's what it looks like.
yeah, that's the beginning of
Yeah.
they in that scene, they're in this cave, they fall into this cave, which there's a whole nother thing behind that cave, and they fall asleep. And then when they wake up, they realize that their arms are kind of stuck together. And it's like, there's this, like, they don't know if it's like mold or what the hell. And they try to like separate it, and it's really kind of gross. I think they showed this scene. Yeah, they did. They showed this scene on Stephen Colbert about a week ago when Dave Franco was on. And it's like, ooh, that looks disgusting.
Super gross.
Yeah, super gross, but you know, I think what made it palpable for me and tolerable was that it had a sense of humor about it. So this whole notion of, like, you know, being, you know, when you're in a relationship, like, to what extent do you lose your individuality? Do you have any individuality? And they visually represent this by, like, you know, joining.
Sure.
There's a scene where well, I don't want to give anything away, but what the hell? I'm not giving anything away, but there is a scene where they have sex that it's, you got to see it. Gives a new meaning to what it means to have sex with your partner. Absolutely.
Yikes.
Yeah. Yikes. Anyway, it's
all
good.
Right.
Yeah.
Tim's classic movie wreck of the week is Ordinary People.
Ordinary People. Do you know it's 45 years old this year?
What?
Came out in 1980. I know, right? Did you see it when it first came out? No, probably not.
No.
Yeah, I did. I got some years on you, but anyway, yeah. Ordinary People for me is a near perfect motion picture that works only as great movies do on a number of levels. For one, it's actor Robert Redford's directorial debut. It stars Mary Tyler Moore and Donald Sutherland. They play this married couple with a son, played by Timothy Hutton, and a family who are surviving the accidental drowning and the death of their older son. It's a stellar adaptation of the novel, the Judith Guest novel, which I read. I think in a lot of ways it's better than the novel. Timothy Hutton that scene that you're showing, it's such a great scene. There's so many great scenes in this movie, but he won an Oscar for his performance. It was his debut film. He plays a surviving suicidal son in this family who's consumed with guilt over the drowning death of his brother in a boating accident, which is compounded by the resentment his mother, played by Mary Tyler Moore in a monumental performance, directs at him for having survived. I think she kind of secretly wishes, although she never ever really says outright, because she just can't even be with this thought that maybe she kind of wished he had died rather than her eldest son, who was her favorite. So it's an emotionally complex movie anyway, and it's an astonishing one. 45 years later, it holds up beautifully, and it's about, to me, it's about the inability to communicate, basically, with the focus in this story on wealthy white suburbanites who struggle to conceal the personal anger and rage and fear that eats away at them, in which their wealth and their prosperity help them to avoid facing. You know, when you've got a lot of money, you generally, you always have excuses to go deep, and the money takes care of whatever it is that you're having a problem with, and it's easy to sort of look the other way. Anyway, so many great scenes, great performances. Mary Tyler Moore is towering in this film. She's brilliant in her characterization of the mother, whose own inner misery is withheld until her soul-crushing final sequence where she emotionally breaks down. Donald Sutherland, as her husband, delivers the most underrated and arguably his best screen performance of that year, that decade, really, as a frustrated husband and a father who gradually becomes distance from his wife and depressed by his inability to communicate with her. It's a masterpiece of nuance, really, and it's a performance that should be studied in acting classes everywhere, in my opinion. And
Wow.
Timothy Hutton is the surviving son who attempts suicide and who makes his screen debut here. What a performance in a film that won the top Academy Awards in 1980 for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Supporting Actor for Hutton, and Best Adapted Screenplay. It's a must-see movie if you've never seen it, and it's now streaming on Pluto TV and Prime Video, I believe. But I think you can see it for free on Pluto. It's just a great movie. Have you ever seen it?
I have seen it. It's been a while, but I have seen this movie. I remember
What was your reaction?
the
Yeah.
feeling of sadness.
It's very sad. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's very sad, but it does end. It's one of those movies that's sad that ends on some kind of hope that maybe, things will work out. It's going to require a lot of work, a lot of inner work, to work out. But it is a sad film. Yeah. If you're in a sad mood, it's a great one to see.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about Mary Tyler Moore and how funny she is, and what
Yeah.
what a great comedic actress. And it reminds
Truly.
me kind of Robin Williams, where you have these funny
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
that, when dropped
Yeah.
into these
Yeah.
dramatic, highly
Yeah.
dramatic roles,
Yeah.
find it within themselves
Yeah.
to take these challenges and just soar.
Yeah, I always, I've talked about this a lot. People get sick of me talking about it, but I always believe that the really, really great comedians, when given an opportunity to sort of shine dramatically, can be brilliant. Dramatic actors as well. Case in point here, Robin Williams in a number of his performances. Jack Lemmon was a comic actor, but then he plays the out of control alcoholic in Days of Wine and Roses, and
Yeah.
what's the movie, the China Syndrome. Brilliant dramatic performances, but a very, very funny man. I think maybe, I'm not a psychiatrist, but maybe a lot of comedians have a lot of inner pain that they work with their comedy in order to sort of, keep it under control, the pain, whatever that they're experiencing. I don't know. But yeah, I agree with what you said, is what I'm trying to say.
Dillette writes, Mary Tyler Moore was such a B word in that movie that she was brilliant.
Yeah. And it's funny. It's interesting because she never saw the role as a bitch, and I never did either. I always felt for her because, she just didn't know where to go. She didn't know how to manage her emotions. She didn't know. She and the surviving son in the movie, the characters that they played, they were really very, very much alike, and it was like she had difficulty seeing that in her son, that she had guilt over. I mean, I always felt for her. I mean, I don't know if she was a bitch. I think she was just deeply troubled, but that's just my opinion.
Rhonda says, Tim, I'm Black, and this movie is totally my family, just upper class suburban stuff. My mom is totally Mary's character.
Yeah, my sister said that too after she saw it. She said, "Hey, that's mom," and I'm going, "Nah, come on, that's not mom." But anyway, people can relate. Yeah, obviously to the stuff that's dramatized in this movie, but. Yeah.
I interrupted you. Wes
No.
wanted me to ask you. He says Leslie Nielsen's Tombstone says February 26th, February 11th of 1926 to November 28th of 2010. Let her rip on it, and people leave toy airplanes and fart noise makers on it.
I love that.
Funny.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Oh, that's perfect.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Wes also wants me to ask you if you ever saw Sordid Lives.
No, I'm familiar with the movie, but it's one that's just for whatever reason bypassed me. Should I see it? Sordid Lives? Wes?
I don't know. Wes, let us know. Just
let us know.
Yeah. Dillette loved Ordinary People.
Yay,
And
Dillette.
Rhonda says, saw it again a few years ago. It's an amazing movie.
Yeah, it's great.
Tammy says, I enjoy a good stupid movie now and then.
Of course, who
Sometimes.
doesn't? Who doesn't
Yeah.
enjoy a good stupid movie?
Rhonda does not. She said, I have chat friends that make me laugh harder than any Adam Sandler film.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite? You might not be an Adam Sandler fan, but I hope is everyone has at least one that they thought was funny, and mine is 50 First Dates. I really love that movie.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, because I think for some reason he was still Adam Sandler, but for some reason he was easier to take in that movie. I thought too. Yeah, but I'm I don't know if anybody watching has ever seen any of his dramatic performances, but he knocked it out of the park in a movie a few years ago called Uncut Gems. He was astonishing. He did.
Okay.
You saw the Adam Sandler persona, but the performance, and I mean, this guy, what a mess I recommend it to anybody who wants to see him doing different kind of fare where he totally shines. It's called Uncut Gems, the movie, and he's great in it. It's not the happiest movie you're going to see. In fact, it's kind of depressing, but he's astonishing. Yeah.
Wes says Sordid Lives has Leslie Jordan as a drag queen in this movie.
Oh, Sordid Lives. I've made a note of it.
Okay.
Another one to add to the list.
Add it to the list. Add it to the long Tim Sika
list. Long Tim Sika list. Yeah, forget Tim Sika. Watch it. You know what I'm finally catching up to after all these years, Kim? I'm watching I'm tuning into Deep Space Nine. Have you ever seen it? Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
I don't. They all blend together because I have sci-fi people at my house, and there's often a Star Trek, one of them popping through. So I'm sure that I have seen parts of it. Yeah.
Well, it's amazing. I'm binging that, and I know it's like 30 years old, that series, but that's kind of what I'm doing now to sort of clear my palate. But I know there's so much TV I need to catch up on still. I had it under my belt for a little bit there, but now it's like, forget it. No time.
B.A. Ware says Jim Carrey and Adam Sandler are both getting tiring to watch in comedies. Their slapstick gets a little less funny every time you see a new movie. It might be that their comedy doesn't hold up over time. I don't know.
Could be. Yeah. Well, and we were saying earlier, comedy is so personal. Something that somebody may find hilarious. Yeah, somebody else may go, "What? What's for lunch? I don't know what this is."
You're getting a lot of love for Deep Space Nine, so.
It is excellent. I'm binging it, so whatever. Anyway, all right,
great. Let's do the recap, my friend, because your first movie. I know, I could talk to you forever. This is what happens. Your
I know.
Movie, The Naked Gun. You said the movie falls short. Even though it has some moments, you're down the middle on it. You said one half works, but many jokes just really don't land. And for a comedy, that's no bueno. You say, skip it. Skip The Naked Gun. Though you admit it's getting rave reviews. Skip-a-roo.
I may rue that comment, but
For Sketch, you called it a wonderful film for children and parents alike. Good guide on how to manage your feelings. Intelligent, you said this is one of the best family movies in years. And you recommended it, surprising even yourself in doing this. Sketch is the name of this movie. Is it in theaters, Sketch?
Yeah, theaters. Yeah, all the movies that we talked about are in theaters except for the classic movie recommendation, which is streaming. Yeah.
Together. Best horror movie of the year, says Tim Sika. Scary, perversely funny, beautifully shot, great acting. It asks, you said, interesting relationship questions. You had a great time with this movie. You said it's got some gross parts, but it also has a sense of humor about itself. And you recommend Together. especially for horror movie aficionados.
Yeah, and I would see
And
it again too. I would actually see it
wow.
again. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say your classic movie wreck of the week is Ordinary People. You said so many great scenes in this movie, great performances, Moore, Sutherland, and Hutton, so good. This film won multiple Academy Awards. You called it a must-see movie that you can find on both Pluto and Prime. So there you
Yes.
go.
Very
Yeah.
good summation, as always, Kim
You
McAllister.
got it. At the movies with Tim Sika. Nicely done, Tim.
Thanks, Kim. Talk to you next week. Have a good
Have the
weekend.
best weekend. You too.
You
Bye.
too. Okay. Bye.
At the movies with Tim Sika. Always love that conversation. All right, before we go, I do want to bring you this story. It's another one of these stories where all of a sudden you see something and maybe you have a feeling, maybe you have a little knowledge, but it's a piece of art and it's cheap. And you think, I'm going to buy this. And it turns out to be worth an absolute fortune. I don't even like this piece of art. Look at this. It's kind of, I'm going to say, I know art is in the eye of the beholder, like beauty, right? It's all a personal thing, but I think this is kind of ugly. I really do. That's my personal opinion, but somebody saw something in it. This man bought this colorful illustration of a sultan for 150 pounds. Turns out it's an original Salvador Dali that could, they think, sell for $40,000. No joke. It was in the clearance aisle. There was an art dealer attending a house clearance sale and spotted the signature of Dali in the corner of this work. This is a scene that is supposed to be from 1001 Nights. There were only 2 bidders on this one. It's an unusual watercolor and felt tip illustration that was at the house clearance sale of this antiques place a couple of years ago in England. And this man is there looking at it and he sees the signature in the corner and he knows that's a Salvador Dali signature. He said, I did a little bit of research and he said, I couldn't believe what I was looking at. He put a bid. He said it was a spur of the moment thing. Very confident, though, that he'd stumbled onto a Dali original. And it turns out he was right. And now he's got it up for auction and it is expected to sell for around 40 grand. From 150 pounds to $40,000? Sure, why not? 1001 Nights is this collection of Middle Eastern folk tales that apparently was a real source of inspiration for Dali. He wanted to create 500 illustrations based on this work. He only got to 100 before he abandoned the project. He was fascinated with Moorish culture because he thought that that was his ancestry, that he was from a Moorish ancestral line. And the auction will happen this fall. The half of those 100 illustrations went to the couple that commissioned them. Their names were Giuseppe and Mara Alboreto. And they stayed in that family's private collection until 2014, and then they were published for the very first time. The other half of the 100 were never published or are believed to have either been damaged or lost to time. But the antiques dealer in Cambridge didn't know any of that backstory when he went to this sale in 2023. It was just that signature on the bottom of the art that made him go, this is going to be worth something. The seller of this told him the painting had been found in the garage at a London house. There was also, in addition to the signature, a sticker on the back side of the art indicating that it had been auctioned by Sotheby's in the 1990s. So the guy quickly looks it up and realizes even back then it was identified as a Dali original when it was offered back then. The loss of an attribution like that, though, is rare in the modern world. And they say this makes it a significant rediscovery for Dali scholars. The preparations are being made to auction this piece of work off. They are still working to authenticate it to make sure that it is what it is. And yeah, it's got a pre-sale estimate of 20 to 30,000 pounds, which is between 26,000 and $40,000. And the auction happens October 23rd, just in case you want to take all your thousands and go buy it. But in this picture, it's supposed to be a sultan wearing a bejeweled turban, not the surrealist style of Dali mostly. But it's got this weird kind of smorgasbord of colors and shapes. So it kind of looks like I it kind of looks like Chewbacca to me. Chewbacca wearing a red creepy hat. I don't know. Hey, if you want to pay $40,000 for it, more power to you. I have an update on our water monitor. This guy, remember he escaped from a place where he wasn't even supposed to be? Yeah. He went from Massachusetts, creeping into Connecticut. Now he's returned back to Massachusetts on his own, still evading capture. His name is Goose. Goose got out of his owner's home by jumping from a second-story window July 18th and remains on the run here on August 1st. The Massachusetts Environmental Police say he was spotted across the border in Connecticut. Now he's returned to Massachusetts. Somebody took a picture of him, and it was verified that it's Goose, but they rushed out there and they still could not find Goose. They're still working with rainforest reptiles, the reptile experts, to help locate Goose and take him back into custody. Again, these creatures are not legal to keep in Massachusetts without a special permit. The owner did not have one, and so they'll have to find a safe place for Goose when he is finally captured. But he's still on the run, going for it. I also wanted to tell you about this story. This is a story of a shipwreck on the shores of Scotland. This boy found this shipwreck on a Scottish beach, and it turns out it's a 250-year-old warship from the American Revolution, washed up on a Scottish beach. The HMS Hind, later renamed the Earl of Chatham, a frigate in the British Royal Navy before it was repurposed as a whaling vessel. And last February, there was a windy winter storm that was laying down on the Scottish island of Sanday. And this schoolboy stumbled upon some wooden beams that looked strange that were sticking out from the local dunes of a local beach. They were, those weird wooden beams, the ribs of an old wooden ship. At that point, no one knew what ship, but everyone in the town then started getting fascinated by it. Town of about, island, I should say, of about 500 people. They have a long history on Sanday Island in Scotland of commercial fishing and seafaring. So they were all wondering, what is that ship? What wreck is on the beach? Sanday is the third largest of Scotland's Orkney Islands. It was once known as Scotland's cradle of shipwrecks, so that's appropriate here. They've discovered about 270 shipwrecks. The coast is only 20 square miles. Like, it's not that big of a place. But that's since 1400. The 1400s, they've found 270 shipwrecks there. But after this boy sees this shipwreck on the beach, the locals start trying to excavate it using tractors. They pull out 12 tons of oak timbers buried under the sand. They call it one of Scotland's 5 biggest archaeological discoveries of 2024. The marine archaeologist looking into this, trying to identify the ship, regards it as a lucky ship, which is a strange thing to say about a ship that's wrecked. thinking that if it'd been found in many other places, there wouldn't have been a community drive to uncover and figure out what it is. It was a community spirit to try to get this done. So they used dendrochronology, which is the study of tree rings, and realized then that the ship was built in the mid 1700s. The wood had been sourced from the south of England. So they used then a list of historical wrecks near the island, and that's how they identified this ship as the 500-ton vessel called the Earl of Chatham. They said you remove the ones that are Northern European as opposed to British. You remove wrecks that are too small or operating out of the north of England. And then you kind of whittle it down to 2 or 3. So it's a process of elimination. And the Earl of Chatham is the last one left. This ship was built in 1749. It was originally known as the HMS Hind, a 24-gun frigate that served in the British Royal Navy. It was stationed in Jamaica in its early years, a British colony at that time, and later used in the sieges of Louisbourg and Quebec during the French and Indian War. During the American Revolutionary War, the Hind protected British cargo and helped escort convoys to and from the colonies. Between 1780 and 81, the crew, they say, proved relatively adept at its task, intercepting at least 4 American privateers. The ship was decommissioned in 1784, then sold to a London-based merchant who changed its name from the Hind to the Earl of Chatham, and it was, for at least 4 years, one of 120 London-based ships that undertook annual whaling expeditions in the Arctic waters around Greenland. In 1788, on its way to the Arctic, this ship capsized not far off Sanday's coast. All 56 members of its crew are thought to have survived, but that's when it went down, 1788. Right now, the ship's timbers are being preserved in a freshwater tank at the Sanday Heritage Center, where visitors can go and see them. They are now on display. They call it a rare and fascinating history, and discovered by this boy and the spirit of community on this island to figure out what was on their beach. So there it is. Do also want to do one more story for you. How about, I won't end with how many microplastics we're breathing in, because really, do we want to know? Do you want to know? It makes you want to wear a mask around. Okay, let's do the story and then I'll end with something else more positive. But it's another microplastic story, you guys. I just, it's like there's nothing we can do because we live in this world and this is our world. This study indicates you might inhale 68,000 microplastics per day. The average person. Yeah. These are lung-penetrating plastic particles, and the rate at which we inhale them is now thought to be 100 times what we previously assumed. The scientists, the French team that did the study, says everywhere we look, we find microplastics, even in the air we breathe, inside our homes and our cars. And the biggest concern is how small these particles are. Completely invisible to the naked eye, we inhale thousands of them every day and we never even realize it. Study done by the University of Toulouse, I know I'm saying it wrong and I'm sorry, in France. They published the study on July 30th in the journal PLOS ONE. And the researchers were trying to estimate how many microplastics we breathe in daily. But the research that had been done focused mainly on large particles, the 20 to 200 micrometer in diameter particles. But this team in France tracked even more minute plastic particles ranging from 1 to 10 micrometers across, smaller than a human hair. Hard to see. The incredibly small size, unfortunately, means it can penetrate deep into our lungs. But this French team used this high-tech equipment to measure the concentrations of microplastics in 16 air samples. And they did it in their own apartments and their own cars. And they found that in their apartments, an average of 528 microplastic particles per cubic meter floated around in the air they were breathing in. It rose to 2,238 particles per cubic meter for the interior of our cars, tested under normal driving conditions. And 94% or more of them were really tiny, between 1 to 10 micrometers in diameter. So the team is estimating that the average person breathes in 3,200 larger microplastic particles a day and 68,000 smaller ones. Indoor air has been majorly underestimated as an exposure route of fine particulate microplastic inhalation. The thing is, we don't know how harmful this is. Jury's still out. We don't know. We don't know. A recent study or I should say, study that was presented, so I don't know if it was published, at the American College of Cardiology from the Case Western Reserve School of Medicine. They reported that high blood pressure, diabetes, and stroke rates are higher in coastal or lakefront areas of the United States with greater concentrations of microplastic in the environment. So, given that, we can say that there are health issues with this. And microplastics might even be harming our brain. There was another study done in Brazil last year where they autopsied 15 brains, researchers in Germany and Brazil. They autopsied 15 adult brains, and microplastics were detected within the brain's smell centers. So they've been detected in the lungs, the intestines, the liver, the testicles, the semen, the everything. It's just everywhere, right? So, and we're breathing in more of it than we thought. Hooray, happy Friday to you. But what about this? Let's end it on a good note. It's a gigantic baseball. As a matter of fact, take your mind off microplastics because it's broken a world record. Yep, this giant baseball has 6,750 signatures. They took it on a tour of minor league baseball stadiums, and it broke the Guinness World Record by accumulating 6,750 signatures. It's an 8-foot diameter replica baseball, and they've been trotting it around ever since June 24th. It visited 15 ballparks before arriving at its final stop, the Major League Baseball flagship store in New York. There was an adjudicator from Guinness World Records who examined the ball, verified the number of signatures, and gave it the title, the most signatures on a single item of sports memorabilia. So that's the record being set. The previous one was 2,146 signatures set by the Cambridge United Football Club last year. They had a giant inflatable jersey they collected the signatures on. So, yeah. All right. We'll take it. We'll take a little giant baseball signatures on a Friday afternoon. Why not? Right? This is when you want to go see Happy Gilmore too. I'm telling you. Again, thank you to everyone who contributes to this show to make it possible. I saw you, Wes, with your two $5 contributions to the show today and the one you put through PayPal as well. Huge thank you for that. Cindy throwing a 10. Thanks, Kim, for all your hard work. Great shows. Glad your mom is recovering. First of all, Cindy, thank you. Not only for the contribution, but for the nice words. And to everyone, this show, you guys, I just love you. Make me so happy that I even do this show at all, because the outpouring of support from people who have sent well wishes about my mom and my grief over my dad and my daughter's birthday this week, which I think is kind of a big one. So just all the messages and all the love, I really appreciate it. And if we take away a positive message, it would be this sense of community that we have created on this show. And that's you guys. You did that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, I'm going to send you off into the weekend, and I'm really, really hopeful that it is a wonderful weekend. Make it the best one you can. I'll meet you back here on Monday. With a little luck, you never know what could happen. This has been a series of surprising events in my life lately. But the plan is to meet you back here on Monday for a Mark Thompson show starting at 11 a.m. But I hope you guys have a great weekend. Make it the best one you can. And for now, bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
I did not, Trevor. I just checked, and right now it's at 2,496. Oh, so close, so close. I would argue you kind of do know me. I mean, what you see is what you get. I really am no different in real life. So, yeah. And I kind of know you just based on your personality and your posting habits. So, I consider us friends.